Hello, hello, this is Fear Dragon coming at you with another StarCraft 2 netcast. Today we have, what? A 2v2 on Scorched Haven. This is madness. No, these are actually pro players, and of course, with 2v2 you don't get that nice little thing at the top, but let's go ahead and introduce these players. For once, it's not going to be spoiled by the little bar at the top, so let's jump into it. Spawning up here in the top right-hand corner for Team Red, we have the Red Protoss player. He is definitely a big pro. Let's see how much of a splash he can make in the 2v2 scene. His name is Fnatic RC Todd. And his ally spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of this map as the Red Zerg player. He is the Zerg player on his team. He is a very well-known Zerg player, and he is known for his macro style. Let's see how good his macro is in the 2v2 game. His name is LiquidRet. Two fan favorites on Team Red. We're gonna have to go ahead and see on the blue team, spawning up in the bottom top left-hand corner. We have the blue Terran player. Now, I don't know a whole lot about him, but he is definitely going to be the only Terran in this match. So we're going to have to see how many Marines can he produce in this 2v2. His name is aAaAureS. And his ally, actually in a recent cast I just did, so go ahead and check that out if you can. He is spawning in the bottom left-hand corner as the blue Zerg player. He has already thrown down that spawning pool, not going for that hatch first in the 2v2 game. But we're going to have to see how good his mathematics are, since his name is MiNiMaTh. So this 2v2 already kicking off. 2v2s generally tend to happen a little bit quicker pace than 1v1s, as it's harder to get away with greedier builds in this kind of setting. Just because if two players decide to go for a one base all-in, it's twice as hard to hold off unless your ally is really, really well prepared to, defend for you as well. Now we do see that there is this annoying little block going on. We see that really no expansions have quite been taken just yet. But in the meanwhile, we do see Todd going for that wall off and building that Cybernetics core and staying on one gas. So we might actually be seeing a 4-gate out of Todd, as he is also building up that Chrono Boost. Meanwhile, his partner, LiquidRet, staying on one base as well, does have that gas and that spawning pool. The Queen pops out, and there's actually going to be the hatchery. So we're going to have to see and check back in on him to see what he is up to. He's sending a couple Zerglings out, but meanwhile, it looks like his opponent, the other Zerg player, MiNiMaTh, the blue Zerg, is going to be going for his own natural expansion as well. And in the meanwhile, just mining gas with one drone. So we're going to have to see what he's planning. This could be a more economic style. I'm really curious to see what he's planning to do. And at the same time, his ally, the Terran player, very easy to keep track of as he's the only Terran player, same as how Todd is the only Protoss player, he is going to be going for that Reactor Hellion build. He's going to be opening up with the Reactor Hellion. Very curious to see how he's going to combine this use with his ally. As we can see, his ally is pretty much just building a couple of those Zerglings. And I'm really curious to see if they're going to be going for that Zergling Hellion build or what. I know that Hellion Roaches is a very common thing to do in 2v2, just because Hellions deal with light units very well, and Roaches tend to deal pretty relatively well with those armored units. But meanwhile, we see quite a few Zerglings out for LiquidRet, so we're going to have to see if he's going to move out across the map or something with it, as Speed has just finished researching, and now we do see a 1 Zealot, 1 Sentry, 1 Stalker, and we actually see 4 gateways. So this is potentially going to be a 4-gate. Kind of interesting how he ended up getting 3 units out already, but that is going to allow him to buy a little bit of time for Rhett to get out this massive Zergling cap. But in the meanwhile, we do see a couple of Zerglings and these Hellions moving out across the map. This Hellions going to be very effective against LiquidRet's army, and we see the Banelings actually morphing in for Rhett. Oh my god, they're actually going to be able to catch a couple of things out of position if he's not careful. And now we do see the Hellions doing a little bit of poking and prodding at those Zerglings, but now we see Oh, it looks like actually LiquidRet's Zerglings and Banelings actually caught a little bit out of position over here since they were trying to morph on the other side of the map. They are not backed up by any of Todd's units whatsoever, and now the Banelings and those Zerglings are going to go down without much of a fight. These two Banelings looking for something to hit, looking for a target, but not able to find anything. They're just getting kited to death, and there they do end up falling, unfortunately, for the red Zerg player. But we do actually see a couple of Zealots making their way in. They're already actually in Minimath's base, so are they going to do a lot of damage? No, it looks like all these Zerglings able to clean everything up. Oh, wow, but actually he does force quite a few drones to get killed. And I'm actually really curious, how many units were lost? Oh my god, it looks like it's very difficult to tell as there is no units lost little counter right now, but we do see, wow, those Zerglings getting some nice hits off on those Hellions, able to take out quite a few, but unfortunately for him, it looks like Red's army is going to be cleaned up, and oh no, even the Zealot Stalker Sentry combination caught a little bit off guard, and there is this proxy pylon. That is where Todd was warping in some of those Zealots, but unfortunately he was not able to do the damage, and these Hellions can be very effective against those Zealots and those Zerglings, and now we see an overwhelming force from Minimath and aAaureS. I think it's aAaureS. I'm going to say aAaureS. But anyways, now they are going to be able to do a nice little counter-attack push if they so choose. And we do have to remember that LiquidRet does have this potential to build Banelings, and that can be very effective if he can get off those big hits he needs on those Zerglings. And actually, oh no, never mind. I thought that was still the proxy pylon, but we do see that Minimath is able to get a nice little positioning outside of LiquidRet and Todd's base, being able to get some good scouting information off, see how large the army is, and basically stop them from being able to move out. And meanwhile, these Hellions can decide to move in if they so choose to. Ooh, they have to be very careful not to get surrounded by those Speedlings. And we do see some nice little poking back and forth, and there, a lot of Red's Zerglings are taking some huge hits, and they are taking the huge hits from those Hellions, so it's very, very painful. And now we do see some 2 forces go down. I'm not sure how effective they are. There's a lot of the Zealots engaging the Zerglings. That's what Todd wants, but these Zerglings from Red engaging the Hellions does not what the Red wants. And now we do see that it looks like the blue team's units are able to pull out a little bit ahead in this engagement. They are able to move in, and now they're moving straight into Red's main, and they're going to be able to do some substantial damage to Red's economy. And oh my god, the drone barbecue from those Hellions, forcing all of Red's drones to be stacked on to run away from those Zerglings, and then using the Hellions to basically massacre them. And now we do see a couple more units popping out for Red, but look at his drone count at this point. It's down to just 2, and there's no counter aggression going on the other side of the map. This is all that's happening, and these Hellions are being so freaking effective alongside those Zerglings, and even taking out one of the remaining drones, the remaining 3 drones of Red. So it's basically going to be up to Todd economically to come back into this game, and he only has 1 base, so it's going to be very, very difficult. He's going to be up against this Terran player who actually has 2 bases already, and this Zerg player also healthily sitting on 2 bases. Look at the worker counts. It's 33 and 33 workers for these 2 players. Meanwhile, it looks like Todd also sitting on 33, so 33 somehow some magical number. I don't understand how the hell they all managed to find that. It looks like, oh, Minimath pinging in the map, saying to his ally, go ahead and take out that Overlord. We need to deny that scouting. Not that I think it matters too much, as I think they're in such a fabulous position now. And I'm really curious, what's Todd going to be doing? It looks like he might be going for that Dark Shrine, and I wouldn't be surprised. There it is. They are so far behind. They need to make something happen, and let's see if they can make it happen. We do see quite a few siege tanks already out, so it's going to put them into a great defensive position. And we also see that there are 2 orbital commands already out as well, so that does mean he's going to be able to make use of those scans once those D2s do come into play. Now we do see, oh, it looks like they're actually just going to be going for that kind of mass expansion build. We can clearly see this replay came from the blue players. Now, let's go ahead and see what exactly his ally, Red, is going to be up to. Todd's ally, that is. And it looks like he's not really up to a whole lot. Is trying to just re-drone back up, doing the best he can. Up to only 8 drones right now. And honestly, I think that right now, the best situation for these players is basically just to feed money to Todd and hope and pray to God that these 2 players do not have detection. It looks like actually they might not even get the chance as this army is moving out across the map. That is quite a few Roaches, Hellions, and Siege Tanks. The Siege Tanks are definitely going to be the scariest part about this, and I'm not sure that there's going to be a response. We even see an Overseer out on the map for Minimath, so that does mean his lair tech is completed, and he actually even already has those in groove spines. that it, or sorry, no, in group spines is the Hydros upgrade. Oh my god, what is it called? He has speed roaches. That's the point, guys. That's the important part of it. And they are actually even taking the gold expansion. So they're going to be able to do some really, really great plays and be able to put on a lot of really big aggression if they so choose to. And this Zealot from Todd, not really going to be able to do too much, but we do see that there is this probe over here. You can plant down a proxy pylon. And there's actually the first DT coming out, but wow, Minimath actually spots it. And oh, there is a second DT already over here. Let's see how many kills he has. He is up to actually 5 kills already. And meanwhile, this Dark Templar over here coming into the main of Minimath, doing actually a good job splitting up this army a little bit, and we do see that Dark Templar did not really get a massive number of kills, and finally that Dark Templar also gets cleaned up, so not a substantial amount of damage actually done, unfortunately, for the red players, for I guess the fan favorites Todd and LiquidRet. But we do actually see this Dark Templar definitely being worth its the 125 gas and 125 minerals, canceling that expansion from Minimath, doing a little bit of damage, but unfortunately for Red and Todd, I'm not sure it's going to be enough. They need to make a little bit more happen. We even see a missile turret being placed down. I think that's a great play. It can not only halt the creep spread, but detect for those Dark Templars, and we do see one Dark Templar maybe just trying to hope that they can do some good damage, morphing in an Archon to soak up some of that tank fire, but that is so many tanks. Look at that, 9 tanks. They're going to be able to easily rain fire down on this army and be able to clean up these Zealots and these Stalkers and Sentries in one round, one victorious and glorious round. Let's see the massive amount of damage, and there's actually going to be the GG from Red leaving the game, Todd leaving the game, so very well played by our blue players, Minimath and aAaureS. So taking out 2 very, very big name players, and you know, even though this was a 2v2, these players not really specialized in 2v2, it's really fun to see them what they decide to do in these 2v2 games, kind of a little bit out of their element. And hopefully you guys decide and do enjoy it, as this is even going to be a little bit of a warm-up for me. So if you enjoy 2v2s, tune in for the CSL casts that are going to be going on sometime, and then I imagine it'll be starting up sometime in the next 2 months, month to 2 months. And yeah, it's going to be for Purdue University. I'm going to be casting all those games. Anyways, that's pretty much it. And hopefully you guys liked this video. And if you did in any capacity whatsoever, please go ahead and like and subscribe and comment. Leave any feedback that you have, especially on 2v2s. I'm very, very, very bad at casting 2v2s. It's a whole different ball game. But if you have any advice, please go ahead and leave a comment below. Also, subscribe to my Twitch TV channel. That's going to be twitch.tv/FearDragon64. If you want to get updates on when I'm doing balance battles, or also the Collegiate Star League cast, send your replays over to FearDragon64@gmail.com. You can get your replays casted, or just any replays that you think are really cool. I'll go ahead and cast those. And yeah, that's pretty much going to be it. So hopefully you guys enjoy this, and I will see you guys next time.